There's one thing that you can do to make the output of your radiator greater, to heat up a large room with a smallish type of radiator without having to change the radiator or anything like that. But this will also work if you've put in an air source heat pump or ground source heat pump. It will increase the output of the radiators without you having to make bigger radiators and put them in, okay? So I'm going to show you how we're going to do that. I'm also going to prove to you that it works, and I'm going to show you all the different types of radiator, because there are lots of types of radiator out there that you can fit and do this one thing on. So without further ado, let's get on with it. So how am I going to show you that this works? Well, firstly, we've got a radiator here. That's going to be our test radiator. And we've also got a thermal camera here like that. This radiator is just a standard electric radiator, all right? It gets hot just like any normal radiator in your home would. Apart from it just uses electricity to get hot. It doesn't use water from a boiler or anything like that, but it effectively does exactly the same thing. Just see it as a hot radiator. 54 degrees at the top there, 55. We're going to leave this to run just for a few more minutes so it gets nice and warm, and then we can start our experiment. So I'm going to show you the one thing that you're going to have to do to get your radiator giving out more heat, and then I'm going to build a small room around this radiator with and without that thing to prove that it works, okay? So let's find out what that one thing is. Meet the Speed Comfort. I have actually done a video on these before. I put them on my wife's mum's house. That's my mother-in-law, and she still loves them. And that's my mother-in-law saying that. She's hard to please. They come in a few different sets. So you've got a single set, a mono. So it's just like this. There's a little fan that goes underneath the radiator, and I'll show you how these work in a sec. We've got the 2 and we've got the 3. So how do they work? We've got a convecting radiator here, standard radiator. This will get up to about 60 degrees, something like that. We're gonna wait for these to reach full temperature before we start our experiment. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the duo set on this one, and we're going to fit it underneath the radiator. So what do you get in a duo set? And it's very similar to what you get in a 3 or a trio, should we call it? A trio set, yeah, a trio set. Firstly, you're going to need, near your radiator, a power supply, all right? That's probably the one hindrance about this, is that sometimes you don't have power supplies near the radiator. Think about the way that you can do that. Sometimes you can hide this wire along the skirting board without seeing it at all. It's a very good way of doing it, but that's the first thing you're going to need. So you're going to need to plug the little AC adapter in. Next, what you've got is the actual Speed Comfort itself, this side up. That's because what we've got is some fans on here that are going to push air up here, cold air, through the convector fins and effectively turn your radiator into what we call a fan coil unit. That means it can push out a lot more heat, and actually the surface area heat output of the radiator goes up, which is why these work so well on air source and ground source heat pumps, because the radiator temperature is lower generally on those systems, and therefore you need more BTUs and airflow going around them, and that's what these can do. So on this particular set, we've got 2 here. And you've probably noticed we've got little magnets on here as well. On this particular new generation, you've also got these little clips under here that allow us to pop in here like so, and that will actually then go underneath on the convector fins. I've actually seen people take the feet off these and actually just sit them on the floor like that underneath the radiator, which tends to work quite well if you're pushing a sofa up here or something like that, so you can't actually see them very well like that. So you've got 2 of these in the duo set. Obviously in a trio set you get 3, and in a mono set, how many do you get in a mono set, Max? 1. Also, what you get is a linking wire, because you can add as many of these in series as you like. Just plug that in there, and then plug that in there, and then you can add more and more and more. You can literally have about 3 or 4 at least. But what we can do as well is we need to have a way of, you don't want it every time you turn the radiators on to go up to the plug and switch it on, because you think, oh, it's going to get hot soon. They've got this handy little thermostatic switch in here that goes on the radiator. You can usually find a little place to put it so it's out of view. And what that does is that once this gets hot and gets up to temperature, it will then turn the fans on. So then you don't have to worry about going up to the wall all the time to switch them on. Also, they supply a little bit of Velcro ribbon for you to wrap that around there. And that's basically how it works. All right. So before we actually fix these on here to prove our test, what we're going to do is we're going to build a little room. This is how far we go on Plumberparts, out of some Celotex. Okay. And we're going to pop our camera in here, a little light, and a little thermometer that I took off the back of my house. Sorry, Emily, my darling wife. And what we're going to do, we're going to see how hot that thermometer gets over 5 minutes without these fans. Then I'm going to go to my mate Chris's house. We're going to fit loads of these fans on different types of radiator. And then at the end of the video, we're going to come back, pop the fans on this radiator here, and we're going to see how hot our little thermometer gets when we've got the fans on in our little fake room. So don't go anywhere, guys. I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to prove to you that it works, because it's hard to do that in a video. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Wow! Right, so look, it says 15 degrees on here, it's 15 degrees on there, so that's our starting temperature. Let's go in there now. Max, you're going to have to get in first, mate. I need to put a doorknob on this. Stopwatch. Oh, it's an interesting clock, isn't it? Mate, it's been running. It's been running that long. My clock's been going that long and I didn't know about it. Reset. Oh, it feels kind of sad, really. I'm going to go in here. The heater is on. If I show you right now, look at that. Radiator is baking hot. And believe me, guys, it is pretty warm in there at the moment. That's the temperature of the radiator, is at 65 degrees pretty much. So the radiator is going to be that temperature whenever we start our next part of the experiment. I'm going to go in there with the camera. Max is going to stand outside. As soon as he shuts this bit on us, he's going to start the stopwatch, and I'll tell him to stop the stopwatch when this gets to 25 degrees. All right, you guys come in here with me. It's lovely. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, we're in. And it's currently, yeah, just hovering at 15 degrees. I feel like Neil Armstrong. It is lovely and warm in here. It's seriously hot actually in here. Wow. So let's just, hopefully you can see this. So some people said stuff like, oh, you can put computer fans under your radiator. That would do the same thing. Well, why don't you go and do it then? You're not going to, are you? Because you can't, because you have to build the whole box and everything like that for these to go in. 16 degrees, 1.5 minutes at the moment. Right, there we go. We're nearly there. Right, and that is, I would say, 20 degrees, about, now, stop. 3 minutes 20. So 3 minutes 20 it took to get to 20 degrees from 15 degrees without the fans, okay? So if we can reduce that by 1 minute, I think that's gonna show to you how much quicker these little fans can get your room and how much more efficient they can get your radiator working. But before I put the fans on this and show you the difference, let's go to my mate Chris's house and we'll fit some on all the different types of radiator he's got there so you can learn how to fit them yourself. Right, we're at this lovely house here at the moment with lots of different types of radiators and also possibly one of the nicest ladies who owns this house I've ever met. Hey Kerry. So there's lots of different radiator types here. We've got double panel convector, like this one over here, beautiful double panel convector, probably about 1,200 long, something like that. We've also got a designer type radiator here as well, which is also near a power point, so these are the sort of things you need to consider. One of the rooms, right, that is sometimes a bit of an issue to get warm is this room on the end here. This is the living room. This is on the end of the house, but we've got a radiator down there, a radiator at the back. We've got a radiator in the hall as well. So we're going to pop all our speed comforts on here as well and get everything working so it's really, really toasty. So the purpose of us coming here to do this is to show you how to fit these on different types of radiator and different sizes of radiator. Let's get on with it. This is going to be the first radiator we do. It's right next to the dog bowl. So let me just lay these. Then obviously, look, so now I can tell you right away that they're going to fit there nicely, all right? But the bottom of the radiator is very similar to the top. So hopefully you can see that we can actually set this just in like that, and that will actually hold exactly where we need it to hold. So it doesn't move anywhere or anything like that, okay? But obviously you put these in at the bottom of the radiator, and also you think, well, we've got a power supply that needs to get to that radiator. But look at that, right there, we've got a power supply. Next to a very special dog bowl that I think Emily should actually serve my dinner up in because I do eat it very, very quickly. A few improvements that Speed Comfort have done from their older type fan is they've actually made it so our magnet bracket piece can come off and then go on like this. You pull this little bit off here and then that can actually go internal. So if you've got a radiator, God, they do really stick, as you can see. If you've got a radiator that this won't quite sit in, you can then put it in so it goes in on the internal like that. And that is properly locked in now. It's not going to move anywhere. So on this radiator here, because it doesn't quite sit right in there, I'm going to make all of these so they're the internal type. So just pop these off like that. Pop that off. So at the moment, when they're not in the internal way, that's as far in that way as they can go. But we take this off and put it round like so, and then that can actually go all the way here for an internal. And we stagger them this way round, so obviously they're, yeah, that's English for attached. It says this side up on here, but I just want to explain to you. So we can put these in and just go boink like that. And literally that isn't going to move anywhere. They aren't going to get kicked or anything like that anyway because of where they are. They're sort of nicely hidden underneath the radiator. So that magnet is there attached on that. And then if we're looking at this from above, just to give you a good idea as to how these were, that would go along here. Then we've got a patch lead that will patch from here. And usually what I try to do is kind of curl them over like that and then get the curl so it's kind of underneath, so it's hidden away. And then you patch that over using this hole here, in like that. And then you've got your next radiator little fan on there like so. And by the way, we are fitting the Trio on here. The Trio can be used from a radiator that's 120 centimeters long up to 180. Right, so plug in the beast. Later on I would get this and I just pin that all the way along here. I haven't got any of those little baby pins today though. What I'll do, I'll leave slack enough for them to do that. The next bit is sighting this piece. Now the great thing about this as well is on steel radiators, that is also magnetic, and it needs to ensure that we get this on here so it gets a nice true reading of the radiator temperature. So when the radiator comes up to temperature, when it comes on, it will then initiate a live supply to our fans and turn them on. If this is an aluminium radiator, they supply this little ribbon with it as well, this little bit of Velcro, so you can kind of get it round something to tighten it up and get it on. So we're just going to put that on the back here. Make sure it's at the top, because heat rises, so as heat comes into this radiator, it's going to come up to the top here, and that's going to get nice and hot and turn on the power to our fans. So look, turn that on, look, fans are running. There we go. Wouldn't even know they were there from here, would you? I can't wait for everyone, like you lot all watching us do this now. In a minute, we're going to be going back to the studio so I can show you in the second half of our experiment that how much these do actually work. This is the one thing you need to do to your radiators to increase their output, and we've just done it. It was that easy. Thing is, right, when you're playing games or whatever with kids, for a little while you let them win, but then after a while it's like, okay, I've let you win enough now, here we go. Beat him on that. He got grumpy. It wasn't actually that the reason we went to bed. We then went on FIFA and I beat him on FIFA as well. Seriously, I smashed him. Just the old Y through ball in FIFA Xbox. So this is, because of the width of the radiator, we're only going to put a 1-er. I'm going to call it a 1-er on here. So yet again, plug the beast in. We're going to swap them two over. This side up. Doesn't matter which way around these go, but they're running already. So in this case, take all these off. Just use them as fridge magnets or something like that. Get yourself your little tie wrap. Just tie wrap it on. I'm going to hide this behind that, up there. So that's hidden up there. You wouldn't even know that was there. Ah, there we go. Now, like we say, there's a lot of different types of radiator out there. We're just trying to fit this one on here. It's probably not 100% the best install on here, but it is still going to do something to move air around this room. So you have to kind of balance up what you want out of it. Do you want more air going around the room, or your radiator to look absolutely gorgeous? You know, I mean, we could solve this issue quite quickly, couldn't we? Just by doing that. Zang. So this room apparently always is very cold. So we're going to put a tour on this one. Got words for them now. That means we've got 2 to go on. We're going to go internal, just like we have done for all the other radiators. Now we've installed those on all of Chris's radiators, let's go back to the studio to complete our scientific experiment as to whether these speed comforts actually do make a difference. I think you're going to be surprised. Right, so you just learned how to install all those speed comforts on those different types of radiators. Now you're back into our little room. You saw how long it took for it to get up to 20 degrees earlier on from 15 degrees. And we're going to do exactly the same thing now, but I'm going to slightly dismantle the room a bit so it's not so warm. Otherwise, I know you YouTube people are going to say, oh, it's all a lie. Yeah, Jimmy woke up this morning and thought, yeah, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to trick some YouTubers into buying a product that doesn't work. Well, I'm sorry, I've got this at my house and it does work. I just want to prove it. So we're going to move this out to here and I'm going to fix these on now. So I've got the twin set here. We're just going to install it under here on this now, and I'm going to use a little thing that I do recommend you buy when you buy these. Just buy some clear tie wraps, because I actually think that tie wraps, especially on aluminium radiators, you've kind of got to use them, and there's a lot of Ali radiators out there at the moment. The radiator went off because it got up to temperature earlier. We need to get that up to 65 before we start our test. And also this is coming down nearly at 15 degrees now. So we're nearly ready to prove to you that these work. Don't go anywhere. Right, 65, let's get it on. So the little fan, if you look down here, the power supply for the fans is just down here. Did you ever watch The Crystal Maze when you were a kid, Max? You don't know when Richard O'Brien used to go, will you start the fans, please? So all our little bits of Celotex have cooled down now as well. So we're pretty much back to exactly what we were doing earlier on. Right, I want to go and start the fans so they're running as soon as this shuts. Right, let's turn these fans on. Right, that's it, the fans are running. Oh, there's heat flying out the top. Yeah, shut it, here we go. There we go. Right, we're shut again. That's at 15 there, by the way, guys, so you know. Look at that, just starting there, so you've got that. Wow, it's creeping up quick, mate. It is literally like I've just gone on holiday getting in here. Already it's warmer, a lot warmer. And also the heat thing on that has gone up. 17.1 already. It's actually creeping up already on the actual radiators. I've never seen it do it that quick before. We're already at 17 up here as well. Oh my God, that's insane. How far are we at the moment in time, Max?
44 seconds.
44 seconds, we're halfway there already, mate. And that literally started from exactly the same baseline point that we did earlier on. We've done this as accurately as we possibly can. We're already at 19 degrees. We're coming up on 19 now, mate. That is just about at 20 now. Open it up, stop the thing and open it up. Yeah, look at that, wow. Mate, that is insane. Max, do you want to get in and feel the heat? How warm is that? Mate, it's definitely miles warmer. As soon as I got in it, it's so much quicker, the heat getting around. So if we'd have done this test, because remember we were going to go for 25 degrees, right, when we were doing it without the fans, and we thought it was going to take so long, I don't want to sit in here for that long. So it took 3 minutes 20 without the fans to get from 15 to 20. It's taken what, like 1 minute something or other to get?
A couple of minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, a couple of minutes, sorry. I haven't got my phone, it's outside, to get to 20. But we're already well on our way to 25 degrees already. We must have only been in here like 2 or 3 minutes. It's crazy. And imagine having every radiator in your room with that on it and then just going along. And if you just listen, that's how much noise they make. You wouldn't even know they were on. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video, guys. If you have, then click on the link that's appearing right now, all about how TRVs work. It's now 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's how much dedication we have when it comes to doing plumber parts videos for you. Remember to hit the subscribe, hit the like, and comment below. And remember to hold tight. Ciao, Bella.